Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel. Keisha here. I am a life coach and soul purpose career coach for the woman who knows that she was made for more. So I'm a coach that helps women who are currently in careers or jobs that feel draining, that feel dead end, that don't feel aligned with your personality, your desires, or your values. And I help you determine what it is that you're really on this earth to do and how you can create a career around that. One that energizes you, excites you, pays you well, lights you up, and allows you to be your full, authentic self. So today I wanted to record a video because I'm just coming out of having the stomach flu. So I was really sick the past couple of days. And being sick like that really got me thinking, because I literally couldn't do anything else really but think and sleep basically. But I had a lot of time to think, and I was recalling how I used to feel like that back when I had my normal job. I used to feel chronic fatigue. I used to feel tired all the time. Like no matter how much sleep I got, no matter how much exercise, no matter how I ate, no matter how much water I drank, no matter what I did, I was always chronically fatigued. And it got to the point where I just thought that that's just the way that I was. I was like, okay, well, this just must be how I am. And it's not like anything was wrong with me physically speaking, because I would get checkups and I would always have like a clean bill of health, but I was always so tired. And man, like being sick reminded me of that time, because it's been so long since I felt like that I had almost forgotten what that felt like. And so I just want to say, sometimes, or quite often, our body will communicate things to us. And in our society, we're conditioned to really ignore the body. And a lot of us are so out of touch with our bodies that we don't even know what's going on with our bodies until sometimes it's been way too long, or it might even be too late for us to do something about it. And then we've already developed chronic illnesses, diseases, and things like that. So one really important note: if you're in a job that doesn't fulfill you, that stresses you out, that you feel trapped or suffocated in, do your best to reconnect with your body. Because what happens is we're so busy in the hustle and bustle and daily grind of life and just like doing what we got to do and pushing through, that we start to lose that sense of communication with our bodies. And your body is always communicating things to you. If things are going well, you will know. If things are not going well, you will also know. But what happens is, because we're so disconnected from our body, most of us, by the time we actually start to receive symptoms that tells us that something is wrong, we've already been getting those signs and symptoms for weeks, months, maybe even years. And by the time that we become aware of the effects, that's how long the damage has been going on. So if you're not engaged in a regular practice that helps you to connect with your body, whether that's yoga, dance, some sort of movement, some sort of exercise, some sort of maybe coaching, talk therapy, anything that gets you to slow down and connect with yourself, I highly recommend that you do that, so that you can start to be more aware of what your body's communicating to you. What's also really common in our society, and something that I did as well, is sometimes we will know that something's wrong, we will know that we're in a bad situation, and we will keep doing it anyway. We will prolong our own suffering and misery because we're convinced that we have to. Like, well, I don't have a choice. I have to stay at this job that I hate because I have bills to pay. And well, I don't have a choice because blah, blah, blah. I don't have this luxury of quitting, and I don't have the privilege of doing this, and I don't have the privilege of doing that. And I'm certainly not going to negate the fact that some people have more privilege than others. Some people are able to quit jobs more easily than others. Some people have more access to opportunities and resources than others, and that's true. But you also have to take into account that if you are suffering, if you are making yourself sick in a job that you hate and that's sucking the life out of you, what difference does it make if you're going to force yourself to do it? Because all you're doing is really just shortening your life expectancy. So how could it ever be worth it for you to force yourself to stay at a job that you hate when you're slowly but surely killing yourself, right? So we have to be willing to look at things a little bit more rationally sometimes. And even if you are the breadwinner in your household and you have a responsibility to take care of everyone in the home and you're the one who's paying the bills and all of that, well, still, if you're sick and you end up in the hospital or you end up with some kind of a disease, you're not going to be able to take care of your household anyway, right? And so, as women, we really have it all backwards. And this is because of the conditioning that we have been put through by society that tells us, ignore your feelings, ignore your body, ignore your intuition, and just keep hustling and grinding and pushing through anyway. And just because we were brought up with that conditioning, it doesn't mean that we have to keep doing it. Because you will get to a certain point in your own life, your own health, your own awareness, where you realize that that's just not working for you anymore. And you have a decision to make at that point. You have to decide whether or not you're going to keep doing what you've been doing, or whether or not you're going to decide to save yourself. And you are the only one who's going to be able to save yourself, because no one's going to come swooping, in on a white horse to save you out of the job that you hate. You're the one who has to advocate for yourself and love yourself enough to say, I'm not doing this anymore. And to also trust that if you're choosing your health and you're making yourself the priority, that something better is going to come along for you, that something else is going to present itself to you. But we have to be the ones to have the courage and the bravery to be able to look for those opportunities and then also recognize when those opportunities show up. Because growth is not always going to come in like these really neat, convenient packages. Oftentimes, we're going to have to obviously step out of our comfort zones and do something different, which means it's going to be super uncomfortable. And we have to be willing to do that. So if you're currently in a situation where your job is making you sick, like you're getting physical health symptoms, headaches, chronic fatigue, stomach aches, you just have like aches and pains in your body, whatever it is, or maybe you have some emotional health symptoms like you're stressed, you're depressed, panic attacks. I used to have all of those things. In addition to being chronically fatigued, I used to have panic attacks. I used to be really sad. I used to have anxiety. Your body has clearly let you know that it's been time for you to do something else. And I mean, I don't know what it's going to take for you to make that decision. God forbid it's going to take you ending up in the hospital or something like that. I sincerely hope it doesn't, but you have suffered enough. Like, I don't know. You don't need my permission to take action. You only need your permission. But if you still haven't given yourself permission and you're experiencing all these things, like, you really need to ask yourself, what is it going to take for you to change? What is it going to take? And really, what are you so afraid of? Like, are you really so afraid that you're not going to find anything else? Like, do you really think that you're just stuck and trapped in this current situation? Because there's something else out there for you. Like, you were not born or created to suffer your entire life at a job that you hate. Trust me, there is a bigger plan in store for you. There are more opportunities out there for you. But if you continue to stay where you're at, you're never going to find them. And nothing's ever going to be different. So you have to take that stand. You have to take a risk. You have to leave your comfort zone. You have to do something scary. And you have to make your pleasure and your joy and your health your number one priority. So I wanted to just hop on and share that, because I mean, I know what it's like to be in that position where you just don't feel good. You don't feel good every day. You don't want to go to work when you wake up. It's just one of the worst feelings, because we live in a society where we have to work so many hours. That's what we're taught. You have to get up and go to work and force yourself to do it. And then it's just not right. It's just not right for your heart, your soul, your body, your mind, your spirit. And you just know that. So please give yourself permission to stop doing what is hurting you and to stop doing what you hate, and just open yourself up to new opportunities and new possibilities. Oh, and another thing, something that's also very common is when we hate our jobs, sometimes we'll like bounce around from job to job, which are all very similar and still all in the same field, but we're expecting a different result. And sometimes it's not just the particular job itself that's the problem. Sometimes you're in the wrong career field altogether. That was the case for me. I bounced around as a mental health therapist from place to place, job to job, location to location, just thinking like, okay, if I can just find the right employer, if I can just find the right workplace, then I know I'll feel better. Well, after doing that X amount of times and realizing that I always ended up feeling exactly the same, I had to really have a come to Jesus moment and realize, oh, it's not the workplace that's the problem. It's not the other people that's the problem. I'm the common denominator here because I don't want to do this anymore, right? So I had to be honest with myself about that. And sometimes that's super hard because we've already invested so many years, so much money. We're probably in debt. I know I'm still in debt from my student loans that I racked up from a career that I'm not even practicing it anymore. But again, you can focus on what you're losing. You can focus on the fact that you made a mistake and you can beat yourself up about it, or you can just choose to focus on the here and now, what you can do today, and how you're going to move forward in a more positive way. And again, save yourself and start to create a life that feels good to you and a career that feels good to you. And also remember that you don't have to sacrifice and compromise in your work. That's something else that we're taught. We're like, well, you can't have it all. Either you make good money. If you make good money, you have to hate your job. If you love what you do, you're not going to be paid well for it. Or like, you're not going to have as much freedom as you want. Or you feel like you have to sacrifice something. Like you can't have everything that you want. And I beg to differ. I actually disagree with that. I think that you can have everything that you want. Doesn't mean you're going to have everything that you want in the quantity that you want it all the time, because you still live in a world where you have to interact and work with other people. It's not always about you and what you want, but you can still have a position, a career, a business, whatever, that fulfills all of your most important criteria, that allows you to have the freedom, the flexibility, the money, the passion, the interaction, the self-expression, whatever it is that's important for you. You don't have to compromise on that. And there's no need for you to compromise on that. It's a huge world that we're living in. There are a lot of people who need different things, and guaranteed there are people out there who need exactly what only you can provide. So when you compromise and you feel like, well, I have to ignore this need that I have, and I have to turn this off, and I have to act like this doesn't exist, and I have to settle over here, all you're doing is blocking yourself from the opportunities that are a perfect match for exactly who you are and what you want. So how about you stop settling, stop hiding, stop acting like what you want isn't important to you, and just put out into the universe that this is what I want, and stop settling for things that don't match that. And start to see what comes to you when you know you're no longer settling. Because sometimes we don't realize, like, we think that we have to settle because the thing that we want doesn't exist, but really the thing that we want isn't coming to us because we're settling, because we're sending out a signal that, hey, I'm okay with what I have and I'm not really striving or reaching for anything more. So then that's exactly what you're gonna get. You're gonna get the standard that you've set for yourself. So how about you raise your standards, right? And again, I know this is scary because change is scary and advocating for yourself is scary when you're not used to doing it, but honey, if you don't start doing it, again, who's going to do it for you? Who's going to do it for you? So I'm still on the mend from the stomach flu, but I wanted to hop on and share a video before too much time went on and just say that if you're currently in a space where you're not happy in your work, I'm sending so much love to you because I know what that's like. And if you would like my help as your soul purpose coach to get connected to the real reason why you're here, not just the BS, I have to pay the bills kind of thing, but like what lights up your soul and like what sets you on fire and what makes you feel alive as a woman. Like you deserve that. Like how can we get you connected to that? We can do that in my one-on-one coaching work. So send me a message through the application that I have in the description box below, and let's talk about my different program options. I have different program lengths to serve you, anything from a 2-hour session all the way to a 6-month package, depending on where you're at and what your needs are. So let's talk about it. Let's get on a call. If our energy is aligned and if I truly feel like I can help you, I would love to be your coach. So that's all I have for you today, everyone. I'm like a little congested, so I'm like, I can't talk much more, but I miss you all. I hope that you all are well. If you're in a job that you hate right now, that doesn't really light you up, know that there are brighter days ahead. There's more out there for you. And if you are in a job that you love or a business or career that you love, but it's not fruitful, like you don't know why you're not seeing the progress or the income or the results that you want to see, reach out to me, because Soul Purpose Career Coaching is all about that too. It's helping you to be more abundant in your purpose that you're already in as well. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Oh, be sure to check out my Soul Purpose podcast. I released a new episode yesterday. I'm on episode 5 now. How exciting. It's all for the growth-oriented and career business-minded woman. Everything from entrepreneurship to self-care, self-love, just transparency about what it is required to run a business and all things in between. Check that out. Links to the podcast are in the description box as well. I will see you all next time. Bye.